nothing like the birth of a new business, the idea, the enthusiasm of the partners, the excitement about fulfilling a dream. It's at that stage that we're often really bad at doing the essentials of setting up a business, the business planning, the insurance, the succession planning. Let's meet a business that is having to tackle those issues now and learning the hard way. Megan, how are you? Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Now tell us about your business.
We started Hollyhock's Positive Resources, my partner Jane and I, in 2007. And it's a company that we created because we wanted to develop some resources to use with people to help them identify their strengths.
Oh, what a good idea. And this is it, all in a box.
Definitely.
Fantastic. Now, what are your issues?
My issue is that my partner Jane became unwell in 2009 and unfortunately she actually did die in April this year.
What? That's a tragic loss, not only for the business, but for you personally, because when you go into business with someone, it's like marrying them, isn't it?
Yeah, we shared each other's lives.
And how's that affected you and the business? Did you have your business planning done and succession planning and insurances and all that sort of stuff?
No, unfortunately Jane and I were very creative and had lots of ideas and enthusiasm, but not necessarily the practical strengths that you need in terms of planning for a business. And I even remember watching an episode of Business Builders when we were first developing this business idea of ours, where some friends had got into business together and they were being trained or coached to develop their business plan, and I thought, great idea, that's what we need to do for our business. And I still have the template for a business plan on my laptop, but we never actually got there.
Okay. Look, we've got to get those fundamentals in place. I reckon we can help with some great experts that will be a terrific sounding board, because that's the hard thing, losing a partner. You don't have a sounding board, do you?
No.
Okay, Greg Wills will talk about the setting up of the structure, the business structure. Could be a few little issues there that maybe you haven't thought of. Also, Julie Bickerstaff is great with business planning and the like. And the guys from Westpac will send you to, because they have a terrific succession planning educational module, so that'll be a big help.
Yeah.
Ready for that?
Yeah.
All right, so I feel like a big hug as well.
Thank you.
Let's get into it.
Okay.
With the death of her partner Jane, Megan is unsure what the legal status is of the Hollyhocks partnership they formed together. She's meeting Greg Will, a partner at accounting firm PwC, to find out.
So when a partner dies, it's really interesting in that the partnership basically ceases to be in existence. The whole thing closes down. Assets get split between the two partners. Where those assets split, we've got to make sure that they all reside back into yourself. And then we've got to also look at how we can start the business up without the other side of the partnership feeling like they've been a little bit aggrieved. So one of the things we've got to do is make sure you don't fall into the same trap you fell into last time. So a couple of things around looking at the right structures, around making sure that there's some insurance or something to fall back on if something like this happens again. Is there anything important to you around some of those structures before we get into what are the certain things you think about before choosing one?
I guess I'm looking at probably having more people come on board and work with me in the future. So it needs to be something that will be able to accommodate other people and entry and exit strategies. And in terms of setting up a company or something like that, I'm really, that sounds really huge to me. As a business novice, I guess I would like to develop a better understanding of what that might entail.
Okay, so the 4 different structures, a sole trader, partnership, company or trust, they all have different attributes depending on what you want to do. And one of the things you're looking at is bringing on some extra employees and also making sure that if there was any value retained in the business, if something like this happened again, you wouldn't fall in the same situation. With a partnership and sole trader, while they're the easiest types of structures to get started with, typically businesses move very quickly away from those once the business gets established because of a number of things. Firstly, people want to know that through a company it's a separate legal entity. So if something happens to one of the owners, like what's happened in Jane's case, the business or the entity continues. With the trust or the company structure, there is a little bit more upfront cost and a little bit more in compliance in terms of running that type of structure. But it's like an insurance policy that if you set the things up right at the start, they'll actually pay back tenfold as you go through the business's life cycle. One of the major things to think about is that you shouldn't have to change your structure as you grow, and if you and in that partnership structure, you would have had to change it once things start to get successful.
Definitely. So my next question would be, where do I go to get advice about how to start a company or to put together that plan for the future?
So any advisor, a lawyer, an accountant, they could help you with those sorts of questions. They could start the company up. They can incorporate it and make you a director or a shareholder. It straight away gives that business life in terms of how the business can get started. They can also talk to you about the sort of things around the tax implications, around some of the things to do with insurances and how things would change or how things would work if something like this happened again.
After the break, the importance of getting the business foundations right.
If you wanted to bring other partners in, how would the earnings of that partnership be split? It doesn't have to be 50-50.
This business travel tip is brought to you by Qantas. Before you travel, get organised. List your appointments and what you need for each of them. Having experienced firsthand the difficulties that occur when a business doesn't plan for the future, Megan Booth from Hollyhock's Positive Resources is keen to get it right this time. She's meeting accountant Greg Will from PwC to find out how.
If you were to go into a partnership again, some of the things you'd have to think about is, notwithstanding that there's those common law rules, also having a partnership agreement drawn up. And that partnership agreement would cater for things like that's just happened to you now. If someone wanted to get out of the partnership, if someone wanted to sell part of their interest in the partnership, if you wanted to bring other partners in, how would the earnings of that partnership be split? It doesn't have to be 50-50. Someone might bring some assets to the table or put some more money in up front, and somebody might just want to work a little bit harder and be there more day to day. So how you bring those assets and that contribution of the partnership can be in different ways. And typically when that partnership gets set up, we want to make sure that those initial interests in the partnership are protected as much as we can.
One of my concerns has been that in moving forward that I might not be able to commit to this company business forever because I might want to move on and have kids and do something else altogether. How do I therefore plan for the future to continue with the business at this stage but have a future that's quite flexible, that I can work within the boundaries of that?
And that's a really tough one. There's a lot of business owners trying to get that work-life balance, or trying to build a business but also know the right time to leave it, or not play as much as a substantial role in the business. So there's a couple of things. Firstly, all businesses go through a life cycle. They start off pretty slow and then they really build up quick if everything's successful, and they usually reach a plateau. So one of the things we've got to plan for is that as the business moves through that life cycle and as it gets bigger, how is the business going to change? Firstly, there are going to be employees, so you're going to be doing a lot more in terms of managing those people, looking for the skill sets you might need in the business to make sure that you know what your strengths and weaknesses are, so looking to maximise on those strengths and employing some people that can build up some of your weaknesses so the business can have strengths in all areas. The other thing is then as the business gets successful, to have a business plan. So we'd have a business plan to say, this is what we want the business to do. This is the underpinning values or purpose of the business. And as long as the business continues on that vein, even if you're not involved going down the track because you want to do other things, that the employees that are still there can still know the ground rules in which you want the business to continue. Once they've got that, then it's a matter of, well, what part do you want to play? So you will wear a number of hats moving forward in this business. You'll be an employee, you'll be a director, and you'll be a shareholder. So depending on which one you want to play, or being all three, will depend on how you're involved in the business going forward.
This business building block is brought to you by Westpac.
In practical terms, a business is a way for owners and investors to create future wealth. Through the investment of time, effort and material resources, a business owner can create products and services that sell for a profit into the marketplace. But there are two challenges that business owners face. The first challenge is in protecting the wealth that has been developed. The second challenge lies in extracting that wealth from the business at the appropriate time. In both cases, it's important to get good financial advice, which is where Westpac can help you. Choosing a good financial advisor is an important part of the business planning process. Your local business banker can assist you and call on the expertise of a financial planner who will offer advice and solutions to help you achieve success in your life and business goals.
Find your nearest local business banker today by visiting westpac.com.au/businessbuilders. After the break, what's a business worth? Megan's in for a nasty surprise.
This is the classic thing about a business which is essentially a people business, a service business, is that they don't really have any value.
This competition is brought to you by Qantas. Qantas is celebrating small business with an amazing opportunity. Every week, one business could win $1,000 worth of Qantas flights to use for business travel. How do you enter? Easy. Go to qantas.com/SME and tell us in 25 words or less how Qantas can help manage your business travel. Before Megan can move on with the Hollyhocks business, she needs to divide up the value of the original partnership between herself and her partner Jane's estate. Megan's meeting our financial guru, Julia Bickerstaff, to help her determine what the business is worth.
Now, in the original partnership, there's a few things that partnership owns. It owns the intellectual property, it owns the name, and probably a couple other of the website, a few other things. The tricky thing is, how do you know how much to give? In terms of the in terms of paying for the. Well, something like the website, that's quite obvious. Yeah. You know how much it cost. You can buy that back, sort of off the estate. Something like the intellectual property is tricky, and there are as many different ways of looking at it as you want to have, basically. But essentially, it's based on what income has the intellectual property earned. And because you're at such a very early stage, you've put it together, but really, you haven't sold lots of it, that it's probably actually not worth very much. Yeah. So really, although this looks absolutely gorgeous, the real magic in it is when you approach the schools, when you talk to teachers, when you get to have a presentation, when you show them how it works and you actually get to see it happening. And until you have actually gone and done that, that's not sort of worth anything.
I guess my question around that then is, with Jane, the business was quite different to what it is with just me.
Yeah.
So the earning potential without Jane could even be different. Is that taken into consideration?
Absolutely. I mean, look, and that's what, to me, in my mind, actually sort of makes what's already gone actually sort of have less value. It is about the people. I mean, this is the classic thing about a business which is essentially a people business, a service business, is that they don't really have any value. That when you come to sell a service business, there's nothing. If you haven't got the people, there's nothing to buy. And yours is a people business. Yeah. And as you say, the business is quite different. You will have a different partner. There's a lot of the stuff that's about you. There's a whole big chunk missing, which isn't going to be there. And so, which brings me to the fact that the business as it stands is not really valued. It hasn't got a lot of value at all, actually, which probably sounds a little bit disappointing, especially from the estate's point of view. Yeah. But that's a very practical. It just doesn't. The way to make a service business valuable is basically to have everything as a process so that somebody else can step in and do everything for you. Now, at the moment, from what we've said, I don't think somebody else could step into this and do it all for you. No. So until somebody can step in, do it all for you, and there is no need for you, the business will never have a huge amount of value.
This technology building block is brought to you by Telstra Business.
The office is busy with tight deadlines, and suddenly the internet slows to a crawl. You've reached your monthly data limit. On top of that, you then find out your phone bill is out of control. So what's the solution? Well, Telstra have a fantastic deal for business owners. The 25 gigabyte Telstra Business Broadband ADSL plan has unthrottled data speeds. Plus, bundle this with a Business Line Choice free local call plan for 24 months and you could save up to $50 a month. And with a $300 cap on your excess data usage per month, you can have even greater bill certainty. What's more, this is just one of the many Telstra Business Broadband bundle plans that include free local calls and access to business-grade technical support 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So for stress-free access to business-critical data and to save on monthly bills, bundle your business ADSL and phone services with Telstra Business.
For more information on how your business can benefit by bundling a 25 gigabyte ADSL plan with a business line choice service, go to telstra.com/business. After the break, building business knowledge.
You yourself need to understand the financial drivers of the business. As important as the creativity and the actual products and services that you're providing are, the numbers underpin all of that.
This segment is brought to you by Westpac. Like many business owners, Megan has a passion for the products and services she offers, but feels a novice when it comes to the practical side of running a business. I've sent her to meet Westpac's Head of Financial Education, Sinclair Taylor, and local business banker Brad Franklin to find out how she can upskill.
My strengths definitely are in the ideas and the creativity and the face-to-face work with people. I'm a people person and that's where my skills lie. But my deficits are really the practical day-to-day running of a business, and I feel that I really lack those practical skills in terms of managing money and knowing about tax and all of those really important key things that you need to be able to run a business successfully.
I think there's a number of things that Westpac can help you with. Firstly, from an education point of view, we run financial management workshops to help business owners better understand finance. And if you're now going to become the sole owner of a small business, or even with some other partners on board, you yourself need to understand the financial drivers of the business. As important as the creativity and the actual products and services that you're providing are, the numbers underpin all of that. So that's one aspect which I would really recommend that you investigate more fully. The other opportunity is to look at a business planning course where you can actually frame up a business plan for the short, medium and long term. And you've seen in the past how not having a plan can have some serious impact to the business as a going concern. And starting from scratch really is the opportunity to set out what are the goals for the business. Do you think you'd benefit from that type of education?
Definitely, yeah, definitely.
So Megan, with the benefit of hindsight, what would you do differently next time?
Next time I'd really like somebody like yourself that I could go and talk to about my financial planning and my situation. Also for me it's really being a people-centred person and business. To have that personal relationship with somebody would be really helpful.
That's great, Megan. A lot of our customers do feel the same way. With our local representation model, our branches do have business bankers supported by other specialists such as the bank manager, insurance specialists, financial planning specialists. And in your branch, the business banker is there to provide that relationship with the business customer, to earn your business, not just expect your business, but also to take accountability and responsibility for all of our relationship with the customer.
And I think the relationship is really important, and you've really touched on the fact that your business is about people and you're clearly a people person, and having someone to talk to and to work through your plans is really important. And I think the education courses that we can help you with are a great start, but then it's about sitting down once you've been through some of those courses, refining your business plan with Brad to really come up with a successful and sustainable business. You've got to understand where you're going and change that as you go along, but getting Brad on board I think would be a great start. So yeah, I think the relationship is number one.
To find out more about Westpac's financial education short courses and how a local business banker can help your business, go to westpac.com.au/businessbuilders. All right, Meg, we have strengths all the time, sometimes and never. Okay, musical, definitely never. All right, enough about me, we'll come back to this. Tell us about the experts. How did they go? What were their strengths and weaknesses? Were they all strengths?
Yeah, definitely. Had lots of strengths. I think optimistic thinking and positivity and practicality were really the strengths of your experts. Essentially what I have to go back and do is resolve and tie up the loose ends from the business that I started with Jane, because that no longer exists. And really I need to begin again, but this time the right way.
Okay. So what are the next steps? What do you take from the experts that you're going to do sort of next week?
Next week we'll meet with our accountant and just resolve the things between Jane's estate and the business that existed previously. And then the next point after that is to look at creating a business plan and a new business structure as a company rather than a partnership this time, and put things in place to safeguard me against all kinds of issues that might come up in the future.
Okay, so get those fundamentals ready for the next chapter.
Exactly.
You excited?
Yeah, very much so.
Good. It's a terrific business, really interesting. So good luck with that. We'll keep in touch.
Thank you.
Now, if you want any more information on today's episode or any previous ones, go to the website. There are lots of tips from our experts from today's show that we couldn't fit in, so they're all on the website, yahoo7.com.au/small business. And while you're there, don't forget to enter our competition. You could win free flights for your business courtesy of our good friends at Qantas. I'll catch you next time. Tenacious. Next week, we make tracks to find out what's involved in protecting your brand and tendering for business. Would you like to be informed, inspired and entertained directly by My Business Builders experts and other inspirational business owners? If so, then join me and the team at our Business Builders Bootcamp. Go to the website yahoo7.com.au/small business to find out more.